Welcome back to A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Search Locked On Sports Atlanta. Guys, YouTube channel subscribers are blowing up. Already over 2,000 subscribers. Appreciate all the love and support from all the fans out there of all the shows here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Of course, this is A to Z. Every day you can hear Hitting Hard with John Chuckery, ATL Day Ones with Jarvis Davis and Tanitra Batiste. Don't forget about our Braves postcast. Grant McCauley, and a host of others, Locked On Falcons and Locked On Hawks, and Aaron Freeman from Locked On Falcons will be very busy as we get training camp started up. This segment brought to you by our friends at BetOnline.net. And Atlanta Falcons training camp is going to get underway here. I just want to get you guys some important dates that you need to know as far as practices if you're going to go out there. Starting on July 29th at 9:30 a.m. These are the 13 opportunities that fans can come to Flowery Branch. July 29th and 30th at 9:30 a.m. In fact, I'll be out there broadcasting live on the 30th at 10 a.m. So August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all those are at 9:30 a.m. I'm sorry, August 1st is at 10 a.m. 2nd, 3rd are at 9:30 a.m. 5th and 6th of August at 9:30 a.m., August 8th at 10 a.m., August 9th and 10th at 9:30 a.m., and then August 15th is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium at 6:30 p.m., and then they're going to actually open it up for one of the joint practices the Falcons are having on the 24th and the 25th with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Teams are starting to do that now. They do a joint practice, and then they lead into their preseason game. So these are great opportunities for fans to be out there. And on the 30th at 9:30 a.m., the NFL Network and ABC will air 5 hours of coverage of training camps. The Falcons are doing their part to make the day an event. On the 30th, it'll be Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot addressing the team at Flowery Branch. Former Falcons will be there. Freddie Falcon, Falcons cheerleaders, food trucks, whatever. You know, money, right? And that's where it is. Okay. Let's get to some of the information here about the Falcons, because I think it's important to recognize that the expectations for this team obviously are very low, but that also means that you can exceed them rather easily if you do a couple of things right. And in particular, again, the quarterback situation here is up in the air. I told you about the list, and Marcus Mariota was 31, and you hear about the way things go with these lists. One write-up is that Mariota is a tough guy and teammates respect him. He's smart. That's one talent evaluator. He has a chance, but they're not real talented around him. They're young. A quarterback's coach compared him to Mitch Trubisky, and this is all from Mike Sando's article. Biggest thing you have there in Atlanta is a lack of offensive line play. They do have a good tight end, some rotational receivers, some runners that should help them. I think Mariota does a similar job to Lamar in that he can run and pass, but just not at the same production level. So, again, I don't think this is Marcus Mariota's job to keep. As I've said repeatedly, I think that it will be a situation where we are looking at Desmond Ridder starting around week 8 against Carolina. That's the date that I've scratched on the wall. But let's see how camp goes from a competition standpoint, because I think, honestly, you'll get a real sense of how quick Ridder is going to be able to get in based off of what he's in the preseason. You know, I think that is a big thing. If he can prove off the bat that he can hold his own and not be overwhelmed by defenses and the speed of the game and everything else. And I know Arthur Smith has said that Ridder is a very heady quarterback and he's really smart and all those things. But that said, the live game action doesn't matter how heady you are. It matters if you can understand it and do it. So that's, I think, what we'll look for here early on with Desmond Ridder, because he is a guy who's got to learn certain things about the game. And again, he's not facing Houston's defensive end or Tulsa's defensive end, right? These are legitimate guys who are faster than anybody he's ever seen play the sport before. So that's going to be an adjustment. I think we'll look for that from day one. Now, some of the other position battles here that we'll get to in just a moment. First, a word from our friends at BetOnline.net, the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your betting needs. Find your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews of news and every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports wagering information. From live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts, they have you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. And again, Braves, Phillies, total tonight, set at 8. Take the under. That's what we're going to do. Also, no runs in the first inning of that game. One of my favorite bets out there. So we'll get to that. Okay. Some of the other position battles that we need to watch, and I think these are somewhat worthwhile. Caleb McGarry versus Jermaine Iafetti. And what is interesting about this is that if McGarry can't win the job, he is sort of useless to this team at this point in time. And they didn't pick up his fifth-year option, and he doesn't count that much against the cap. So this is a very cheap player to have here, but that pretty much will signal the end of his time in Atlanta. If he cannot win this job, he's done here, and he's probably going to be relegated to a backup tackle, maybe get another a chance to start somewhere else on another team, but there's no reason for the Falcons to bring him back. So that's the important point of this. And again, we can have that whole conversation about, the previous regime drafting versus this regime drafting and what it means and how it goes and everything else. But manifestly, the organization has another first-round pick that doesn't pan out, and that's, problematic. So we'll see how that battle works out. Then you have Nick Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski? I can't even say his last name. It's too difficult for me, against Deion Jones. The funny part is that Ski's going to win this job because Deion Jones is not going to be here. So this is an easy one to figure out. There's no other. The Falcons stack so many linebackers on this roster to find somebody who could play, not named Deion Jones, that somebody else is going to play, not named Deion Jones. I mean, this is really that simple from that standpoint. I think there's another position battle, but again, with Jones on the PUP list, it's not really going to matter. Former Georgia Bulldog, former New York Giant, Lorenzo Carter is here, and a host of others that are really, really worthwhile to watch as we head into camp. And Carter has really meshed well in the locker room with a lot of his teammates, and he's certainly going to enjoy playing in front of his home crowd. I think the other things you look at, obviously, Tyler Algier, how quickly can he get inserted into the starting lineup? And if there is a chance for him to win the starting job, I think he'll be the guy that you'll see taking a majority of the reps. I think the final thing that we look at least that I'll keep my eyes on in training camp, and as I've said repeatedly, that I'm not giving passes out to Arthur Smith and Kyle Pitts at all this year when it comes to targets. But I am curious to see how Drake London fits into the target share and what that is going to look like and how it's going to play out, because it is something to watch and how they want to develop this offense. I have a ton of faith in Arthur Smith. I think he's a really good coach, but I also believe that there is a certain amount of balance he's got to strike here with these guys to justify taking them that high and to make sure that this team is a team that actually, can produce something offensively. You took all these guys on offense to create mismatches and be talented players and everything else. Well, guess what? You've got to be able to get them the ball if you'd like them to be able to showcase that. So that's where they are from a camp standpoint. Again, I'll be out there intermittent times, again, broadcasting live, others just sitting there and watching. So if you see me, come say hello. Coming up next, this is one of the weirdest quarterback clauses you've ever seen in a contract, and it's only there for one of two reasons. We'll tell you that next right here on A to Z on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Sports Atlanta.